Bob Brown is in the waiting room. Carrie's coming on.
Okay, I texted Kurt.
Okay. There's Carrie.
I emailed him.
Hi.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello. Mark, I am going to try to rejoin. It did knock me completely off.
Okay.
Except for on the phone, I just can't see the screen.
Okay.
If it gives you something weird.
Give me a.
Oh, David said he was on another Zoom call. He'll be here in a minute.
There's priorities.
Tell him I said we come first.
Unable to rejoin this meeting.
Carrie has become a chair.
Hey, Chris, give me an email. I can copy
It is C Clark, CCLARK at P.
Hang on, let me pull it up real quick. Okay, Chris Clark at Piedmont.
PiedmontConstructionGroup.com.
It's coming your way.
All right.
And let's see. Amy Adams, Ashok, C. Howard, Bob Brown, Nicole Bello, Mackenzie Pino. Do we want to go ahead and invite them in?
I don't see any reason why not. We have 3, but the first.
Chris is going to be calling back in, but I'll go ahead and bring everyone.
I don't know where Kurt is. I have emailed him twice now.
Okay. Bob Brown is in the waiting room. Carrie's coming on.
Okay. Has Chris come back on yet?
I'm on the phone.
Okay.
I just can't access by my screen right now. I can follow along on y'all's webpage.
Okay. Yeah, we've got it on YouTube. However, there's going to be about a 45-second delay.
All right.
So let's go ahead and get started, Chris.
All right. So today is the 12/7/2020 Design Review Board meeting. I'm calling it to order. First order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from our November 2nd Design Review Board meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
So moved.
All right. All right. No changes? All right. So we have an approval from Will Stanford or a motion from Will Stanford. Do I have a second, Mrs. Robinson?
Second.
All right. We got a motion and a second. And since we found that the meeting minutes are appropriate as submitted, is being recommended that they be approved. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. All right. The first item on the agenda is 318 Corbin Avenue. Certificate of appropriateness to allow exterior modifications. HR1 district. Kara and Ross Pino are the applicant, and Kara Pino will be presenting. Ms. Pino, if you can just tell us your name and your address for the record. And
Hi.
just tell us a little bit about your project.
Sure. If you guys can't hear me, let me know. My service is not great where I'm at. But I'm Kyra Pino. We have 318 Corbin Avenue. And we are just, for the outside, we're doing, we're replacing there's rotten siding on the back part of the house that it's not visible to the street. It's already like a hardy board. So we're just redoing it in the same thing that's already there. And then we're going to paint the entire house, the whole house, the brick and the siding. There is currently 3 back doors right now. So we plan on, one of those doors is already, only the door is visible from the outside. From the inside, it's already been closed off, and it's now an existing shower. So we just want to take that door off and put siding there. And that will be where the green line is on the drawing. And then where the blue is, there is a door that's there. We are just replacing the door, just a newer door, a wood door. And then there is another door. It is leading to the kitchen right now. We want to close that door off from the outside and inside to run cabinets on that wall for a kitchen. And then we would just replace it with the hardy board as well. And then let's see. On the porch, the front porch, there is beams. There's quite a few of them, and we want to, instead of I think there's 8 now. We just want to replace them with 2, one on each corner. And they would be just raw wood beams. Let's see. We would be pressure washing the whole house as well in the driveway. And then there's a small hole in the top of the roof that we would be patching, just with the same shingles that's already on there, asphalt shingles. Let's see. And then on the back, there is a porch. There's bricks and stuff that are cracked and they're falling off. So we would just be replacing the concrete back there and putting new, the same bricks back, just repairing it basically. And then in a couple different spots, there's just some rotten wood on the house. We would just be replacing that with the same thing that's already there. And then taking out the double window in the kitchen and just replacing it with a smaller, same double hung wood window. I think that's about it.
Would the window match the 6/1 pattern the same way? What's
I'm
on
sorry,
the
would you
the
say that
remainder of the
again?
house? I'm sorry, and I'm sorry too. I said that wrong. Would the window match the 8/1 paned windows? And I know that since it's a new window, it probably wouldn't be a true divided light window.
Like the
With the mullions in it on the top and then just a single pane on the bottom.
So that it matches the other existing windows to the house.
right. It would
Pattern.
match the other ones. Yes, it would. I'm sorry, I have a bad connection.
That's all right.
But yes, it would be the same. We would do the same double pane wood window. It's just we just need a smaller one, like a standard size window there instead of the double pane for upper cabinets, and the sink is going right there as well.
Okay, so there would be a little bit of infill there as well on the exterior of the house.
Right. Yes, we would just right there. We would just put in the new single window and do the I think it's brick right there where we would be taking that out. We'd just be filling it in with the same bricks and painting them.
All right. I got you. My only concern is the raw wood on the door and the columns. Typically those would be painted in the historic district. I can definitely understand the reason for creating fewer of them on the house.
Okay.
That's my only reservation on this one.
And I agree completely, Chris. I think that it, by doing the stained columns, it changes the historic original styling of the house and is not appropriate for the historic district. I know that is a popular look that people are doing right now, but for this area and for keeping with the historic guidelines, it's not an appropriate application for the house.
Okay.
Will, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I would echo the same. Have no problems with the hardy infilling the doors and the portions of around the back with the hardy and painting the hardy, of course. But yeah, the columns I would say need to remain as painted to be appropriate.
Okay.
And I do like the three on the, is it three on the corner
Mhm.
as it is now? I do think that is unique to the home. And I would like to see that remain. Does everyone else agree, or what about that?
I agree.
Were you saying you were going to remove some of them as well?
Right,
Yeah, we just wanted to take
one at each corner.
I thought there was too many, and it blocks we're gonna do a really nice, cool door there. We plan to restore a door from 7th Street Salvage, if you're
Whoa,
familiar.
whoa. That was not included in the application.
Oh, okay. Okay. But that might have been something that he took off then. I apologize. I'm just reading off a note.
I gotcha.
Either way, it's the same concept. We just wanted to where you could see the whole, I mean, because it's a really pretty door, and the side pieces of the door too, where it's built in, and it has 2 cute little windows in the front too. I just wanted you to kind of be able to see the porch more. So we just wanted to take out some of those beams and put 2 on the sides. That way you could, visibly see the porch really well. That was the plan.
And are you adding something in to structurally support that, or?
We've spoken to a structural engineer.
Okay.
By putting 2, it would be bigger posts. By
I
putting
see.
2 square bigger posts there, it would be enough to support it.
And did you say that the ones in the center, more towards the center, that kind of divided into thirds, those are going away as well? I'm sorry.
Right. That's what we would like to do. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Carrie, I'm kind of in agreement with you that the 3 at the corner, and maybe we go with the smaller size. We're going to go with paint anyway, but that is a particular to this style of house. And the door as presented would need to be painted. If I would be okay, and this is just to open up the discussion, if you wanted to work with staff on that, or either submit a picture of the door y'all would prefer to use, and with the new side lights, and Adrienne can send it out to all of us and get our feedback on it. But I think the door and the columns need to be painted. I'd like to see 3 at the corners, just because that is very particular to this home. The ones in the middle may have been added, may not have been added at some point in the past. They definitely look like they've been there long enough to have some historic significance, but they seem to have been replaced at one point. In fact, I think I lived up the street from here for a very long time, and I think I remember them actually being replaced at one point when I was younger. So
okay.
Any other comments? Adrienne, are you okay with that?
The main thing was
what was Kara saying?
Oh, go ahead, Kara.
I'm sorry. The main thing was the basic things was to get rid of the 2 that are blocking the view of the door and the little windows. I just think those are super cute, and I would like for you to be able to see them pretty clearly when you're looking from the road. So if if we could compromise and take those out and leave the 3 on the corners, I would be perfectly happy with that.
I think that's whatever. Is everybody on the same page with that? I think that's what we were requesting. And then on the door, Adrienne, are you okay if they would like to submit a picture of a different door that has a little more historic significance, and they can submit that picture, and you could submit it to all of us? Or
Yeah, that would be fine if they are planning to change out that front door, especially the configuration with the side lights. Because that is a design feature, and I don't know if you saw in the staff report. I would not at all be surprised if the basic house, the original house, was a kit house from either Sears and Roebuck or Montgomery Ward or one of the others. It just has all the features of that sort of design features of that sort of house. So I would hate to see us destroy historic integrity just because of the other.
I would certainly like to see the side lights remaining because I
Yeah.
do think that that's a really distinct feature, and it does coordinate with the
smaller
divided,
windows on the side.
yeah, the divided windows throughout the property. So I do think that those need to remain.
Okay.
All right. So any further discussion? Any comments? David Thompson, are you on? Any comments from you? I've not heard any. He may not be on yet. Anyway, so do we have a
sorry,
motion?
I'm good.
You're
I
good?
couldn't figure out
All
how to
right.
unmute.
I gotcha. All right. So do I have a motion for 318 Corbin Avenue?
Let's see. I will make a motion that the proposed changes to the property, including the window and the roof patching. Was there anything else, Adrian? The
Doors,
hardy board
back
siding
doors.
and the back doors, that those are accepted, but that the three side columns on each side will remain as painted columns to keep the integrity of the existing property, and that the door can be submitted to staff for approval.
All right. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All right.
Who was
Since we have
that? Will?
That was
me.
Will Stanford.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second, and it's been found appropriate as submitted with the noted changes. It's being recommended for ratification by the commission. If you're willing to accept those, Kyra, those changes, Kyra, we can get straight to ratification.
Sounds
So
good.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, and motion passes. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for the investment in the neighborhood.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love the neighborhood.
Great.
I haven't heard. Has Kurt joined us yet? Does anybody know?
He's
Kurt,
just
is that-
joined. Kurt
Okay,
just
Kurt.
came in.
Very good. Perfect
All
timing.
right. All right. The next item on the agenda is 352nd Street to allow certificate of appropriateness to allow exterior modifications, CBD 1 district. Bob Brown is the applicant, and I understand that Carrie and Will be abstaining, and we have 2 other members here with us. So, Bob, if you would just state your name and address for the record, and then tell us a little bit about the project.
Brown, BTBB Architects, 609 Cherry Street. The property in question is 352nd Street. It's an existing park. You there? There you go.
Yes.
So the front, you're looking at it from the alley on this side. The front portion of the building is a 2-story building. The rear portion is 1-story. Can we go back to the plan? First A11, please.
That one?
Keep going. Floor plan.
Oh, there you go.
Right there. Stop there. So the first floor, 4 rooms to the right are in the 2-story portion of the building. 1 room on the left end is in the 1-story, and then behind it we have a very small bar that again is under the 1-story. On the upper side of the sheet, I should point out that the owner of the property owns the entire line of buildings all the way from this building down to Hargray. So the next property adjacent to 350 is 362, and the back of 362 will be infilling a small niche to create restrooms for the bar and a little patio area. And then you'll see a stair behind the next property, which is actually 368. That's a historic one-story structure. It is in the photograph that has a step parapet, the right-hand photograph. We'll keep that portion of the building because it's historic. I'm going to use that as a shell to create a interior stair, so you really won't see the stair until it gets to the very top. And then we'll bridge across the open space to the rooftop of the one story to create a very small rooftop bar that again is part of the bar. I should point out that the back portion of the alley from 350 on up to Hargray is a private alley. We're gating it, but we're going to keep it accessible because there are acts that do use the alley to load in for the Hargray. We'll also have a handicap ramp that will really be virtually invisible from the public way, but it's beyond the one-story stair tower that we create. So that's my accessible entrance into the bar area and also accessible entrance into the hotel. On the alley side, we'll create a new door opening that goes into the hotel. There are a couple of windows on the ground floor. That's the back, yes, that side right there. On the ground floor alley side, we've got a new entrance into the hotel room. And then the two windows to the left of that are existing masonry openings that will reopen. The upper windows will simply repair or rebuild as necessary where they're damaged. We'll have 4 rooms upstairs. The 2 rooms on the back on the left have a very small balcony, just to give them a little extra punch.
I was going to question you about your about the lady that's standing on that balcony, Bob.
Yes. Do you know her?
A little racy.
Well, it is. We're in the urban core, you understand. Leave her alone. She's very nice.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking of more of Miss Kitty in the gang from Gunsmoke.
Yeah. Okay. On the lower elevation is the street front on 2nd Street. As it currently exists, the window on the left exists. The center is a window now, and the right is a door. We're reversing one door and window because there is a stair that comes directly from the 2nd floor. So that will be my second exit directly to the outside. So we're basically flipping a door and window.
Bob, wasn't there a door? Wasn't the door originally in the center on that storefront and it got moved about 20 years ago?
Yeah, I believe so. And which would make sense because it likely went directly to the stair, directly to the 2nd floor originally.
When a bunch of lawyers redid that building.
Yes. So, and I should also add that this is a tax credit project. The tax credit application has been submitted, but we have not gotten anything back from the State Historic Preservation Office yet.
Are there any comments or questions from any members? Bob, do you have anything else?
No, just don't mention the woman on the balcony again, please.
I like the Porsche. I like the Porsche in the alley.
Okay.
Well, that's not unusual for right down there.
That's right.
That little strip. It's the balcony lady. Anyway, Bob, I love it.
I think it's gonna be awesome, really.
And I
think it's a
people
great
use
use for the building. And
people are going to use the heck out of that.
Yeah, Carrie's doing the interiors. That's why she abstained. And I think we're going to do it really upscale. I think it could be a great thing for downtown.
So you really aim this whole meeting with the lady on the balcony, Chris and I, thinking
Yeah.
we're that shallow. We are. A Porsche and that. Well done,
It worked,
Bob.
didn't it?
Well done.
It worked, didn't it?
Damn right
It did,
did.
sir.
Okay.
Any comments from any of the other members? All right. If we don't have any comments, do I have a motion for approval for 350 Second Street?
I guess I have to make, our Kirk's here now, right?
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
So I'll make I make a motion that we accept as proposed for and I'm looking for the address,
350
352nd Street.
352nd Street.
All right. Do I have a second, Kurt?
Second.
All right. Since 352nd Street is found appropriate as submitted, it is being recommended for ratification by the commission. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And keep up those good graphics. They bring entertainment.
I'll do my best.
Otherwise, be a dry process.
Glad I could provide.
Yes, sir. All right. The next item is 546 Second Street, certificate of appropriateness to allow exterior modifications. CBD 1 District, Bob Brown, BTBB Architects is the applicant. Carrie and will abstain on this one as well.
So Bob
All right.
Brown, BTBB Architects. Let's just slide right on down Second Street for the next project. I'd like to think this is about as unique as the Airbnb. It's really a pretty fascinating little structure. You see some of the old pictures of what the yellow cab stand looked like. And the top picture is what's there now. All of the cornice structure, all of the roof structure is gone. There are 3 of the steel columns still remaining on the right-hand side on the alley. And then the little brick box that was an office. Of course, then the portion between the brick box and the columns was open parking. So we're kind of adapting this. My client owns the building at 546 Second, which is the Exchange Pharmacy, which he is developing as his personal loft. Y'all have already reviewed that project. And so this will be his parking for his loft. The idea is that we're going to enter the parking from the alley. I do have a bit of fall down the alley, so my solution is actually to step the garage. It's a pretty minor step down, a single step down. So I have 3 bays of parking. So you see how the doors, we'll keep the door head the same, but we'll step the bottom of the doors down. And my idea is to take the area that had been open as the parking area and make it fairly transparent with the use of glass. I would like to use opaque glass just because it is a private garage. You don't need people staring in those windows. We'll keep the brick box. I'll end up having to rebuild it pretty much on the left, replace the window in it as it was originally, put a stucco cornice so we again begin to mirror the look of the original building, and then on the Second Street, glass that with storefront, offset it back a little bit from the alley so that the columns are freestanding and prominent away from the facade. Then we turn down the alley side, and you'll see we have the 3 garage doors. I want to do them as a very clean line aluminum door so they don't really read as anything historic, and again use the opaque glass. And I mentioned that we'd have I'm going to actually add 1 column. We have the 3 that we currently have. 2 of them have capitals. I'll place those at the far left, the far right. There's 1 column currently there that does not have a capital. So That's a better view right there. So the two center ones, there's one new one and one existing one, and we won't have a capital on them since the current one is not there.
All right. I don't have any comments on it. I think it's a great use of what has become kind of an eyesore in there, but that really is going to be very nice. I can see the.
How long ago is it? How long has it been since it burned? A decade?
2 or
I
3
don't-
decades. The 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I don't remember
I think it was
exactly.
there in 2004.
It's amazing. Yeah.
2004, 2005, it may have gone down, but I photographed it in 2004.
Tony owned it at the time.
Yeah.
Long. Well, about looking forward to anything, but this looks great.
Oh, very good readaptation.
A great idea.
No.
It really is.
It really is.
Don't you love the fact that it goes from a taxi stand, car park to a garage? Really?
Hadn't thought about that.
No, I do.
Yes, that is.
I mean, it's entirely appropriate. I think it's going to be really something cool.
I agree. All right. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
All right. We got a motion by Kurt. Do I have a second, David?
Second.
All right. And since 546 Second Street is found appropriate as submitted, is being recommended for ratification by the commission. All in favor,
Right.
say aye.
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 Is
All right.
Carrie
Thank
doing
you very
interior
much.
design on a garage?
All the best
More
garages have
the-
an interior design.
Yeah.
Well,
Or the
thanks.
house.
Congratulations on expanding your portfolio. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I apologize. I didn't put a Porsche in this one.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, actually, there's no
Well, I
car
mean,
in
that-
this one.
It's behind the opaque glass, Bob.
Well, the door's
We
closed.
understand it.
Yeah,
It's a
that's fine.
Lamborghini in this
Yeah, we'll
case. Actually.
work on it for the cat version and a foxy lady.
Thank y'all.
Well, thank you. All right. The next item of business is 618 Arlington Place, certificate of appropriateness to allow exterior modifications and accessory buildings in HR 3 district. Carrie Robinson is the applicant. And Carrie will abstain on this one. I hope you're ready to get grilled, young lady.
I know, right? So, Carrie Robinson, 618 Arlington Place. So we have a number of items here that we are planning to do. The first one is to add a gate to where you see the red circle, where our driveway comes off of Tinsley, and the only way to close in our driveway is to add a gate because that goes into our backyard. So we are proposing, if you scroll down one, you'll see an image of a wood driveway gate like that, the 6x12. It will be an automatic gate that opens so that we can access it easily to drive through with our cars. But we need to get our driveway closed in so that we don't have foot traffic accessing the rear of our home. Beyond that gate, we are planning to add a wood shed that you can see a rough rendering of as well. You would only see the shed if the driveway gates were open. But that will be out of a hardy material with an architectural shingle, and will match our existing home. You can see, if you scroll down one more, you can see the placement of that, where that will fall in the backyard. On that driveway, we are proposing just to add a crushed slate material. It is currently a somewhat graveled drive at the moment. So that will be, will remain a gravel material, but will become a crushed slate instead of a standard gravel. And then if you scroll down one more, there's a small section to the side of our house. Actually, it may be on the slide right above again. If you go one up again, you can see it marked in the very top corner of that landscape plan. We will add another small side gate that will not be very visible from the street, but it will just close in the yard completely so that it's not accessible. And that will match the driveway gates, so they will be the same style. And then finally, the final item, if you scroll down, there we go. So our front porch is rather large, and unfortunately we don't use it that often, and would like to use it a bit more. So we are proposing in the very back corner of our porch to add in some screened panels so that we can actually create a screened porch section. There is nowhere else to add a screen porch to our house, and my husband Will says that that is the only thing that is still lacking from our home. So we would like to be able to enjoy it more in the summertime, but to keep mosquitoes out. So the idea is to add a very non-obtrusive panel system of screen on the inside of all of the columns so that the columns will still remain outward facing. And then we would just add a simple screen door to access. So, and then there will still be plenty of open porch space as well.
That screen door come with the spring on it, so it makes lots of noise when it slams.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It's in a historic district, so I think that's appropriate.
Yes, it has to have that. Our front screen door, we have a screen door on our front door as well. It has that same spring. So.
Okay, fabulous.
Now, if it doesn't slam, we're gonna have to have a conversation about this.
Yes, it is necessary for a historic home for it to slam. I agree.
Correct.
So I think that's it. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Oh, I don't have, looks good.
All right. So do I have a motion for approval of 618 Arlington Place as submitted?
So moved.
All right. We'll count that as a first and a second. Kurt and David, however you would like to put them in order. Mrs. Wood, and since 618 Arlington Place is found appropriate as submitted, it is being recommended for ratification by the commission. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Will, are you off mute yet? I didn't hear you, but.
Aye. Sorry.
All right. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you.
All right. Next up on the agenda is 909 Hazel Street. Certificate of appropriateness to allow construction of an addition, Historic Preservation District, Beals Hill District. And Nicole Bello is the applicant. Ms. Bello, if you would just tell us your name and your address for the record, and then just tell us a little bit about your project.
Hello, everyone. I am Nicole Bello, and my address is 909 Hazel Street. And I am looking to add an attached garage to my new home I recently purchased to match the same exact specifications of the home. So it will have the same colors, same materials, same everything. I'm sorry, I'm new to this, so I really don't know what to say, but
You're giving us the information you need to. So a 6-inch hardy board siding with 5 inches exposed on that, and it would connect directly to the rear portion of the house.
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
Is this a new build?
Yes.
So you'd basically just be creating another another hip under the existing hip at the back, at the rear, and it would shed the same as the existing roof does in there. And would you exit out the rear of the garage to access the back door there? That's the only thing I don't think I saw on the plan was, oh, I see the rear door now. Never mind. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
What is the garage door made? How is its construction?
I believe the front doors are some type of aluminum or something. Honestly, I don't know, but it would be similar in nature, whatever they have that. I don't know to tell you.
All right.
Adrian, is there anything over there that's standard?
Didn't we approve one on the corner of Calhoun and Ash? I believe they added a garage last year, maybe.
Calhoun and Ash, let me look.
I believe so. It's on the corner.
I've got to find an address to, let's go this way. The application reads standard garage door, so I'm thinking that is your basic paneled 5-part garage door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that appropriate for that area would be my question.
With the infill in that area that has occurred,
yes, sir.
I believe
so. It's more of a modern.
So.
Okay, it's more of a modern area. Yeah, it is.
I would think that that would be. There's not really a consistent garage look because there's so much infill over there.
And we also approved.
So we could get you to design one, but I'm not sure if the building's tall enough.
No, I think.
We also approved a garage in Bells Hill at the corner of Oglethorpe and
same style.
The addition to Ryan Griffin's, and it's a Hardy, same Hardy sided, but that's still considered Bells Hill. So.
Okay. All right.
And I think it would be appropriate to have just a standard garage door.
So sounds like that would be appropriate.
I agree. Yes, I think
especially with the new builds.
Yes. All right. Well, any other concerns from members of the design review board? All right. Do we have a motion for approval for 909 Hazel Street?
So moved.
Oh, go ahead, Kurt.
So moved.
All right, we've got a first from Kurt. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Will. So since 909 Hazel Street is found to be appropriate as submitted, it is being recommended for ratification by the commission. All in favor, say aye.
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 Are you putting any conditions on the garage door or not?
If it's just that it's a standard garage door.
Okay. That's all. That's what I had. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay, so motion passes. Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Bello.
Thank you.
All right. So the next item up is 1238 Jefferson Terrace, Certificate of Appropriateness for Exterior Modifications and Fence, HR3 District. Chris Howard is the applicant.
Hi, I hope everyone can hear me all right.
Yes.
Wonderful. I live at, again, Chris Howard, 1066 Magnolia Street, and I am submitting this on behalf of my mother-in-law that lives at 1238 Jefferson Terrace. And just, I guess, the pieces that I guess y'all don't have to approve, we'll be repairing all of the trim work on the exterior, painting, And then as you can see from some of these photographs, a lot of the windows are in very poor shape. Those will be repaired where possible, and if they do require replacement, they will be made to match the existing windows, both light and configuration. So the main thing that we're here today to discuss is landscaping. And one of the first things that we'd like to do is notice the picket fencing that runs along the Georgia Avenue side of the house, as well as the Jefferson Terrace side. We'd like to remove that picket fencing. And the photograph that you can see here shows the picket fencing on top of the brick retaining wall. And over the years, the retaining wall has lost portions. You can see where you've got several missing bricks, as well as the granite curbing that you see there. But the proposal for this wall is to raise it about 18 inches, and it would be concrete block faced with brick that it will closely match what is there. And we've been working with Cherokee brick to try to find an appropriate brick for that wall. We arrived at that height because if you are looking at the sun porch on the left-hand side is an original set of brick stairs, and that bottom riser, if you make it consistent with the others, it raises the wall to that height. We met with Scott Pipkins with High-Tech just to make sure that from a structural perspective that it would hold the additional bricks, and he said it would be fine. The other thing that you'll notice in the picture here on the left is granite curbing, and it was added as a way to hold the dirt back on the other side. So this, by raising the wall, it would alleviate that problem. But the curbing, it appears that it at one point was on Jefferson Terrace, and in this other photo, you can kind of see where you have granite curbing, and then it goes to sort of a concrete kind of slope curve that is at one point we think it was done that way to make it easier to park, possibly pull on to the lawn when it was a real estate office. But we propose removing the granite curbing from the Georgia Avenue side and returning it to its original location here on the terrace. And we also, at the rear of the property, and here's a good picture, currently there is a iron fence separating the two properties. We would like to go with a privacy fence for that little section between the two houses. And the proposed design is one that's over in Keaton Heights on the lower left-hand side of this page. The idea being that both sides are attractive for both properties. And then you'll also see the trash can and recycling bin. Those are at the side of the house. And we would like to construct a 4-foot tall enclosure just to hide those when it is not trash day. And those, it's really the only place for them to go, so you can't really drag it anywhere else on the property. So that is that portion. But kind of going back to the front of the property, which I'll call the point, kind of gets more into the landscaping side of the project. And as far as fencing is concerned in that area, we would like to go back with just a simple black iron metal fence that would be affixed to the top of the wall. And you go down to the landscaping plan. Get a better idea of what that looks like. And so the black fencing would be on top of the wall here, and then you can see where it turns at the point. So the fencing would not go all the way down to where Jefferson and Georgia meet, but then it would go back up Jefferson Terrace. And instead of the way it is now where the fencing goes all the way to the front porch, we would like to stop it at that front right corner of the sunroom. And inside the iron fence, we'd like to plant a carpus with the idea that it would eventually kind of grow through the fence, essentially making it look like a hedge. But we wanted the fence for safety and security. You also see that inside the carpus is brick banding, like within a small terrace, where and the detail of the brickwork will match the design of the front porch door that Neil Reed set. And at the point, you'll also notice that we would like to do some sort of tree. We're not married to any specific species, but just something that is from a non-invasive reef-wise and something that won't get too huge. One thought was perhaps a yellowwood or kind of a medium-sized tree. And then in front of the sunroom on the Jefferson Terrace side, we'd like to plant some plants to kind of give a little more privacy in the room here. And then you can see directly to the left of the front porch is an Italian cypress to kind of punctuate that facade. And the last thing for that, we do propose adding a gate to the front section, and we would like to use the Neil Reed design that he originally spec'd for the front door to try to mimic that for the gate. And again, the gate needs to be for added security, safety. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else. One thing that we would like to do is in the original plans, one window on the Jefferson Terrace facade had shutters, and to the right of the front door, and you can see the ghosts where the shutter hinges were. You can see it's the window with the flower box under it. We just wanted to add that back. Custom wooden, fully functional shutter.
Okay.
I think that covers it.
All right. Are there any comments from the members on this?
It looks great.
Parts to both of us.
As a neighbor, I probably need to abstain, right?
No.
No, you.
It's been a couple of years, but technically, I'm still a neighbor there.
I don't think you have to abstain.
It looks great.
Just because you're a neighbor. I think it looks great. I understand definitely the desire for more privacy along that back.
Yes. It used to be the
area.
prettiest rose garden that was there before that.
Right.
Gorgeous. It can be a gorgeous little landscape piece. So congratulations.
Yeah, and I think you've got a great plan there.
Yeah, wonderful house.
All right.
And the plans seem to be, just right for what you're looking to do.
Right, and I like moving the fence back from the point. That feels a lot better to me.
Yeah.
And all right.
It's funny. I saw that and I thought I never would have thought of that in a million years, but that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not talking but about 1.5 feet, really.
But yeah, it's not a whole lot of space, but I think it will make a difference, and kind of it would open that corner up a little bit there, especially for walkers, and I think that it'll feel better in the yard. So if there are no other comments, do we have a motion for approval for 1238 Jefferson Terrace?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Robinson. We have a second?
Second.
All right.
Who was that?
All right.
It was either Kurt or David, one of the two.
Kurt and David.
Okay.
All righty. So we have a motion and a second for approval of 1238 Jefferson Terrace as submitted. So it will be recommended for ratification by the commission. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, we have 1990 Vineville Avenue. This is a certificate of appropriateness to allow demolition, remodel, and design of a new structure in the HC district, and Ashok Patel is the applicant. Mr. Patel, if you just state your name and address for the record, and then tell us a little bit about your project. You may still be on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ashok Patel at 8062 Eisenhower Parkway, Lazella, Georgia.
If you would tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, it's 1990 Vanville Avenue. It's an existing metal building. We are demolishing the front part, about 1,500 square feet, and using as a laundromat. Yeah, it's 1990 Vanville Avenue. It's an existing metal building.
Yeah, I
Is
think
anybody
radio delay.
getting-
does somebody have the YouTube on in the background?
Not anymore.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So you'll have a laundromat.
Yeah, it's about 4,000 square feet building. And we are demolishing front part where the garage door you can see on the picture what we submitted. And we are taking the front out about 1,500 square feet so we can create the more parking space and do the laundromat in there about 2,500 square feet. We are not changing anything on the building look except the front wall. Any question you guys have?
The signage would have to be a separate
Yes.
permit. Is that correct, Adrienne?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right. My only comment is that typically when you have something that's changing this much, the finished metal panels would need to be covered. Any comments from the members on that?
You're talking about from on the side and the rear, Chris?
Yeah, and the rear. I know that sometimes slides, but even Mercer all the way off the street with their with their metal building for their physical plant, was required to the visible sides, except for where their expansion was proposed, for their future expansion was proposed, had to have brick on them. And we do have an elevation that faces Vineville. That would
Chris, you're suggesting not using the metal panel there? Is that what you're saying? And doing brick instead? Is that what I'm hearing you?
That's my suggestion, is that the sides should be brick veneer. The rear on this, I would be willing to slide on. I'm a little concerned on your site plan, Mr. Patel, and that's an engineering thing. Just your back out space is going to be into Vineville on your side parking, and it can be a little haphazard right there. I know you have a very wide driveway. It was required at the Goodwill across the street that they close those, just to make sure that backing out into Vineville was not a possibility.
So you want me to just use a Holt Avenue driveway?
Well, I think you can have a driveway on the Vineville. I'm concerned about the layout, but traffic engineering will comment. We'll have to approve.
Yes, I have to submit it to them. Right.
Right. So they're gonna be the tail. They're gonna be the dog on that. I'm just the tail, and just a comment on that.
On my my site plan, I don't see any driveway on Vanville.
Just where that parking backs out, it looks like it's going straight into, and I guess that would be Forsyth Street at that point once it splits. So,
No,
for those
it,
1, 2,
where
3,
you see
4.
the dotted line,
Mm-hmm.
but then you see the solid line. That's where the curb comes for one wheel.
I got you.
So once they back up, they have to come out to the Holt Avenue. They cannot get out on the one wheel.
Gotcha.
So
Adrian.
there is no
Ma'am.
driveway on one wheel.
All right.
And we are
Adrian,
not proposing anything.
Adrian, clarify with me. Is this technically in a historic district, or is this?
It is.
Are the guy? Okay.
It is.
I'm just wondering where exactly those lines are falling, because I know it's right beside several historic homes, and
It's zoned historic commercial.
Okay.
And I believe, going back to Chris's earlier comment about the panels on the side, I believe nothing is going to change on the side. It's going to remain the metal building. It's just going to be repainted.
Yes, you're correct.
Mark, can you go to the side elevation, Mark?
Yeah.
There you go. There's not going to be brick on the sides. It's only going to be the metal that's already there will just be cleaned, blasted, and painted, possibly.
Yes, you're right.
Right. But and I understand that. Just saying, typically when you have a renovation this scope, those panels would be changed out to brick as the facade along Vineville. When is what has been required by precedent on other buildings, even the newer metal buildings. And I see what you're saying, Mr. Patel. That curb has been in that sidewalk, but there is a driveway pan there behind that parking that does concern me. Right there, that would allow people to back out straight into Forsyth Street. If you look at the street view. So
we can condition to speak with traffic first.
Right.
Yeah. The street view
and traffic
shows what appears to be a sidewalk replacement project at some point along here, and there are it's really a blending because of the difference in elevation, but there's a stoppage of the sidewalk and a curb cut essentially all the way along from Holt to the edge of the property line, with the exception of a few feet.
Right, just around that one telephone pole there.
And I would also agree that since the primary facade, even though that's not the entrance, the side is the front that faces Vineville, and that should incur some additional requirements to make the materiality be appropriate for, so that you're not going to be seeing just this dressed up front facade for the entrance and then the old panels. Even if they're painted, I think it would still be a little tough sell.
Yeah.
But there's probably some alternatives to brick. I don't know if brick has to be it, but something else.
I would agree with Will. I mean, this is such an eyesore as is, that I do feel, and it's such a gateway into downtown from the north side of town, that, I think that we need to be very mindful of the appearance coming into town.
David and Kurt,
I concur.
All right. And we also have Karen and Jay Palmer that wish to speak on this matter. So, Mr. and Mrs. Palmer, if y'all would just introduce yourselves and state your address for the record.
I'm Jay Palmer. We live at 195 Holt Ave. It's our residence. It's basically the Red Cross building. We purchased from them about 15 months ago. And we run a business here called Palmer Photography, and also Chanticleer Manor, which is a wedding venue. And that's been open and operating for about a year now.
And I'm the wife, Karen Palmer, same residence.
All right.
And we do have some
All right.
concern about the proposal at hand, the application. It's a big project. It's going to demolish approximately 1,400 square feet. We feel like it's more of a new build because they're building 2,511 square feet of new build. And we are also opposing the keeping of the metal that is there, the backside that faces, if you look at the proposal where there's the largest tree on property, that whole side is metal and completely deteriorated. And it's been that way for quite some time.
Yeah.
Also, exactly right there, that whole side. So if that continues to stay that way, it would just fail so very quickly. If anybody would, well, we do have pictures of it. The side facing Vineville actually is better looking, but the side that faces where that tree may be is really deteriorated. In addition, we have concerns about the landscaping because in the proposal of this application, there is no landscape or streetscape plan provided at this juncture. And what you've been given here, that's that says the 2 trees that are in existing. Yes, those 2 medium-sized trees. There are no trees there. That property is 122 Holt Ave. It's a vacant parcel also owned by the applicant.
I can, if I'm able to show a picture, I don't know if it'll show. That is.
I don't know if you can see that, but there are no trees located, but they're saying they're in existence on the plan that was given to this board. So that's a concern for us. And in the plan itself, saying that what already exists is sufficient landscaping. If you look at the side at the back of the building, where it says there's existing trees along the lot line, they're all scrub trees. There's really nothing of value there to keep. There's limbs that are hanging off of, dead limbs that are hanging. If you look at the back of the building, the 3 trees that says smaller, they're just scrub trees and there's hanging limbs right now. They're not anything of value. So that's the landscaping and streetscaping that you talked about earlier, about backing up onto Vineville and a walkway. It's really concerning because that is, you would be pulling right out onto Vineville and those spaces. And I do agree that the metal is not sufficient when, if you look at the rest of the properties around that area, we're using historic full brick, not brick veneer. And his closest neighboring neighbor just restored 1976 Vineville. The exterior has been completely restored, and it's a residence. It's a residence owned by Louise Barfield, and she's restored that property on the exterior. And this building, her actual property towers over this dilapidated structure, non-conforming. So we have several concerns.
Well, and the character of the neighborhood.
As you said, it's a gate. Yeah. When you come into this neighborhood, that was one thing back in 2015 when we saw this property and the gas station. Yeah. We literally turned around and walked away.
Yeah,
it's really the only 2 parcels along the strip that.
During a walk from downtown to go visit the big house, on a tourist, we live here now, but at the time we didn't live here. But we actually turned around and walked the other way once we hit that corner, and it looks exactly the same as it did in 2015.
2015, it looks exactly the same.
And someone used the term eyesore.
Eyesore,
and it really is jarring. When you go up and down the street and come across the corner of Holt and Vineville, and this is one of the properties.
Right. So
I mean, we want it to look good. We're excited that some a change is proposed here, but we really want to make sure that it is a pleasing aesthetic, and it complies with actually the
Historical commercial requirements
well, right,
and longevity and the intent of these non-conforming buildings that you don't want to encourage their survival. So I'm not really sure why the applicant is wanting to save the siding that needs to be, and gutting, demolishing nearly a big proportion of the building as is, and building a new build. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're proposing to keep any of the walls. Just knowing how construction goes. I mean, a building like this, especially with so much utilities and cosmetic construction inside, I would be really surprised if the builder would accept the fact that most of the existing structure remains, and not just start from scratch. So everything's nice and straight and true. That's.
And I understand your point. There's a lot you can do with a metal building. I think that the board has spoken and has spoken to its concerns about the metal panels.
Yeah.
And
we can't dictate landscaping, can we?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, just opening it back to discussion to the members. I believe that the building, with this much of a remodel, I think that the brick veneer on the sides of the building is appropriate, and the metal panels are inappropriate. And with this much construction going on, my opinion is, and I'm just one opinion of five, that the sides should be veneered. And I would also like to see a landscape plan submitted before we have the final approval on this, or as a condition of approval on this.
And get a resolution or a review by the traffic engineer.
Yes, sir. Is there any further discussion on that and from the other members?
Do I have a time to rebuttal on
it? Surely.
So if you guys require to put the brick on the one wheel side, I don't have a problem. And as my opponent concerned about rotten metal panel, as a contractor, I would not have that panel there. I would replace all the skin of the building and then put the brick veneer on one wheel side and have a landscaping plan submitted to the staff, and I can work with the staff.
All right. We're actually proposing brick veneer on the face, the Vineville side, and the facade that's visible from Holt Avenue. There,
yeah, no,
it does
I'm
not.
proposing on the Holt Avenue anyway, but I can add on one wheel side and back side or the other side. I can change the whole new panel and make it building brand new. Structurally, building is good. It's a metal structure.
Right. No, I agree with you. What we're saying is, and it does not necessarily have to be brick. I would prefer for it to be brick. Like I said, I'm just one voice on this panel, on this committee. My preference would be that the rear side that's visible from Holt Avenue would be brick veneer as well.
Yeah, but my client owns the next door.
and I mean, and I understand that they own next door. That's immaterial. It's visibility from the street that this board governs.
Okay.
I think there are enough issues raised, valid issues, I might add, that this project should be deferred until those issues have been modified. Come back and make another presentation, because we started out with the traffic issue on Vineville, and now the structural issues on the property itself. And I agree, because of its location, strictly because of its location, it is a very focal property going towards downtown. And I think it needs to come back for a second review after what has been discussed amongst the board, that should be reviewed and presented again.
All right, so is there a motion on that?
So moved.
That's my motion.
All right, so we have a motion that the property would be reviewed by the traffic engineer and resubmitted with brick veneer on the Vineville elevation, as well as the front elevation, and which is already brick veneer, and the rear elevation that is visible from Holt Avenue, and submitted with a landscape plan.
Yes.
Yes.
So I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Motion.
David
We
or
have a
myself?
motion and a second. All right. So all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, Mr. Patel, we look forward to hearing from you again.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Then next item up is 2455 Clayton Street, certificate of appropriateness to allow fence, HR1 district. Amy Adams is the applicant. And this is making this application is actually a revision to the originally submitted application. It moves the fence further back away from Callaway Drive. And Amy, if you will just state your name and your address for the record, and then tell us a little bit about your project.
All right. Hey, I'm Amy Adams at 2455 Clayton Street. That's at the corner of Clayton and Callaway. And really just want to put a fence up for the kids and the dog. Standard 6-foot privacy fence that would go along Callaway. At first, we had talked about sending it off the house and going down a little closer to Callaway. But after speaking with Butch at Planning and Zoning, he said that easier option would be to take it off just straight off the back of the house on that side. And I've consulted with Shannon Fickling and Tony Long and Gary Robinson, who are all a part of my renovation here, that all agreed that that was the best solution. And so the proposal is to put the fence, obviously pretty side to the neighbors, along coming off the back corner of the house there on the Callaway side.
And the landscaping and the tree would remain between the fence and the road.
No landscaping would be removed.
Disturbed.
From it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then the rest is just the 4 foot metal fence.
Well, so the part along the Callaway side, and then along the back of the house, which right now there's already a brick wall that is where the neighbors have behind me. But because it's so short, we're doing the wooden privacy proposed behind that as well, and have left I want to say there's 3 feet or so in between the two, so that the landscaping can be maintained back there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the 4 foot metal fence is just because the backyard is, or that's just so that you can still see the rest of the yard on that side. So that's why we change it up on that side.
All right, it's a nice lot. This is very much in keeping with the neighborhood. You've got it's a very similar wood fence at the corner of Buford and Clayton, and then you have another fence on the Lemons house that's down on the corner of Rogers and Clayton. That's very similar in nature to this.
Yes.
So,
and it looks like a brand new one also at Hines and McDonald, right there.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yes.
I wasn't going to bring that one up because I'm not sure if they got a permit to do it. It looks good.
What rebels?
Is that Hines at McDonald?
Yes.
I don't think they did. I know what you're talking about.
I think that was one from last year.
I did. I remember that one.
It was a replacement fence as well, so it was.
Yeah.
I may not have been at that meeting, but it looked. I just didn't remember it coming before me, but I missed a couple of meetings last year because of an out of town job. It looks great to me. Are there any comments from the other members?
Move for
All right, do I have a motion? All right, we've got a motion for approval from Mr. Brewer for 2455 Clayton Street. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we've got a second from Mr. Stanford. And since 2455 Clayton Street is found appropriate as submitted, it is being recommended for ratification by the commission. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much for the application.
Gary, did you abstain on that?
Abstained, yes.
Okay.
What do they have? Like an outhouse or something?
Yeah, just a main house.
No, she's going to do the interior design on a freestanding garage back there. All right. So, is there any old business we need to address, Miss Adrienne?
Nope.
All right. Is there any new business?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's no Christmas lunch this year.
That if there is, they're keeping it a secret.
Yeah. Right.
There is a Christmas lunch, but it's at everybody's own house.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Yeah. I've already forgotten it's Christmas. Y'all did approve that fence. The Hines at McDonald was approved by y'all.
Great. Well, I thought it looked great. I'm not sure what you're going to say anything.
It's kosher.
I must not have been at that meeting, but it really did look good. Okay, so if we're all done with business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion by Will and a second from Kurt. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all.
you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
2021.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Whatever.
Well-
It'll be over soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks.